Hello and welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name's Adam Smith. We are playing the Doctor's Lab and we are in the final portion of this crazy encounter, and we got to get through this door here and put as much hurt on this guy as possible. Once we kill this this guy right here, this golem, then these oozes will no longer occur once this doctor's dead, and that's what the scenario is calling him, as a doctor living inside of this gigantic stone giant. We got to break this machine down, so let's do it. So my plan of action is to get the Cragheart right up against the ooze and the stone golem. Now, that sounds like a death sentence, and it probably will be. I don't know if that's the best idea or not, but I'm doing it anyway. Let me think about this. I don't know, I got some damage to take. We'll see how this goes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to... yeah, I really like this actually. This is going to be really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and pick 2 cards for the Cragheart to start this round. Everything's been shuffled and we're good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and pick 2 cards. Now, the 2 cards I want to use is this one, the Heavy Swing. The reason it's really cool is I get to push afterwards. I can push this guy into an obstacle, which allows me to destroy it, gain an XP, and he suffers 2 damage. So I can basically shove him up against this cabinet here and bust him up a little bit on top of actually hitting him for a really heavy attack. So that's huge. In terms of healing, if I end up moving to here and the Tinker is nowhere near me, then healing really doesn't do anything, although I could heal myself, and that's never a bad thing per se. So maybe that's what I do on this turn, is just do this one here. So we're going to go ahead, and I think that one's pretty good actually. I like that. So I'm going to use this one as a heal, and I'll use it as my first card so I can go hopefully before the ooze and the golem go. Now in terms of the Tinker is outside the room. We just got to get him in the room first off, and once he gets in the room, we can get him to maybe somewhere like here on top of this coin. I could go one, actually with just 2 movement I could go 1, 2, and I can just put him here. He would shoot whatever he can hit. Now this one makes a lot of sense in that I can hit 2 characters at once. Do I still have the hook gun is my question. Oh, I do have the hook gun. So maybe I should create 1 2 damage poison trap like right here. Yeah, that might not be bad. I like that. Let's do that. So I'm gonna go ahead with a. It's not gonna kill them per se. Oh, and remember, guys, I talked to you about at the end of the last video. I was gonna decide whether I wanted a short rest or not. I'm actually gonna do it. I'm gonna short rest. So I know I should have done this at the end of the video, and I remember, I think at the very end of the video I told you like, hey, I'm gonna short rest. I'm deciding to short rest right now because I want to hit them with a big attack and immobilize them all up front. Although immobilizing really doesn't do much, because if the Cragheart gets really close to them, all it really stops is it stops them from being able to move. But the attack 3 is pretty nice. I just don't know if this is the right time to use it. But it might be. We're putting some serious damage on them, so it might be. And if I'm going early enough, which I would be, it would be useful before the Cragheart shoves them into the thing. So you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to short rest. Yeah, I'm going to short rest. So this is interesting. We'll see how this goes. Shuffle these around a little bit. Until I don't know where things are. I'm just looking away while I do this so that I don't know where everything is. And we'll split it in half. Oh, I just knocked the candlestick over. And we'll take the bottom. We'll take the second one here. What is it? Oh, it's the one that I wanted. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that sucks. I lose a health in order to keep this card, so I'm going to do that. That's dangerous. I'm going to lose a health on the Tinker to keep this card, and we're going to pull a different one. I'll pull this one. Ah, I lost my heal. Okay, so there goes my heal. So I get some attacks back. So this is where I'm gonna have to be overly aggressive. And remember, I still have this crazy attack 5 card. I'm gonna hold on to that for sure. That's gonna be one of the ones I end up definitely hitting these guys with at some point. So now I can be within range 3 to do that. So we want this one, right? This is one of the cards we just got back from healing. Now, just so you guys understand, I did this short rest kind of a little bit into this turn. It should have been done at the end last turn, but it's the same. And you guys understand that. So go ahead, here's the card. In terms of the bottom of this card, what do I want? I need something that generates movement, and I'm not going to use right away. Probably this one. I'm not going to do the damage trap. Ooh, will I? No, I'm going to be focusing most of my attacks on going after the golem, I think. Actually, if that's the case, 2, I'm not close enough to the golem. It may take a bit for me to get there. We'll see. We'll see. I'm going to go with this for now. This is going to be a really cool fight. I'm really kind of looking forward to this. And so we got a 19, we got a 38. We're going to pull for the ooze. 94. Oh my gosh, there's like a story. Ooze suffers 2 damage. Summon normal ooze with a hit point. Wow, I'm not going to read that right now. That's like a book. And then 65. Okay, so they're going after us, so we can do whatever we can do here. So let's go with the Tinker. The Tinker's going to start it off. So the first thing Tinker's going to do is use the bottom portion here for move 2. So he is in the door. Now we're going to go ahead and do our net shooter. We're going to target all these both these characters. And when we target both of them, we get to immobilize both of them. So we know that that's happening regardless of anything. So I'm going to go ahead and put those markers down so that they're in effect for the next turn for them, just so we don't forget. So we'll put them where they're visual there so we can see them both. All right. This guy's so massive it's hard to see the ooze. Okay, so we got that there. And then now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do our attack. And we're going to go ahead and we'll target the ooze first, I guess. I don't know if that's better or not. We get to choose. So we'll target the ooze. What does the ooze have? The ooze is normal. It has a shield. Of course it has a shield, because pretty much everything does. Let's see what happens. Oh, we got a muddle. Nice. That's good. So a muddle, and it's a rolling modifier, means that this ooze is now going to be muddled. And we get to pull another modifier. And it's a 0. Okay, so we ended up getting a 0, which means that the attack we made of 3 is going to be reduced by 1 for the shield, and 2 damage will go on that ooze. And that ooze is number 1, so we'll make sure we put it on the right one. And they need 8 in order to be killed, so that's kind of heavy. Now we're going to go ahead, and at least he's muddled. That makes him weaker on the attack. That's great. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to shoot the big golem here with the exact same attack, and we'll see what happens. Now the golem has 2 shields, so he's essentially, we've got attack 3, so we're getting through his shield, but we'll see how much extra. Ugh, not a lot. So we got 1 damage on the stone golem, which isn't that great, to be honest. Stone golem is here, so 1 damage on him. We need 11 more based on his card, so you guys can see that. And then we get to get 2 XP because we targeted 2 characters when we shot, and then this card is gone. This one here we use for move, so it's discarded, and that's it. That was the end of that turn. Now we're going to go ahead with the Cragheart. Now the Cragheart has a lot more fun in store for these guys. He's going to go ahead and he's going to use this for move 2. He's going to try to get right up next to the... First off, this guy's a ranged character, so he'll be disadvantaged when he shoots him, but he's already muddled, so it'll all be the same. He can't be multiply disadvantaged. But he's going to sit here and he's going to push this guy. It's going to be great. So we're going to go ahead and do the attack 3, push 1, and I'm going to use the Eagle Eye Goggles, as this is one of the highest Cragheart cards I have remaining that can do damage. So it's probably a good time to use it, as good as any. So this is going to be a time to use it. So it's going to allow us to hopefully get a really good hit off with this guy. So it's an attack 3. We've got to remember he's got a shield of 2. We get to pull 2 of these because it's advantaged. There's why it's useful. Okay, so we just ended up getting 1 damage through. I wish that had been like a +2 or something. So not really as good as I wanted. But the cool thing is the card says you may push the target into a hex containing obstacles. And in each case, destroy the obstacle. The target suffers 2 damage and you gain experience. So we're going to shove this guy. And we're going to knock this entire case over. He's going to move over to here. And he's now broken this obstacle and destroyed it, essentially. And the Cragheart gains 2 experience going up to 8. He's really hauling the XP this game. It's crazy. Oh, sorry. He goes up to 7. He only gets 1, not 2. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to take this card and we discard it because we get to use it again later, which is really cool. And then we're going to discard this one as well because we used it for 2 move. Done. Now we get to go to the Stone Golem. Now the Stone Golem is, hey, that worked out really good. He's immobilized, so he can't get within range to attack me. That worked out perfect. So because of that, his attack is nothing. So he is no longer immobilized, but doesn't do any attack against me. That's awesome. That worked out great. Now the Ooze is right here, and he's immobilized and he's muddled, but he's also a ranged character. He's going to go ahead and shoot. He only shoots after 1 person, so it will be the Cragheart. Now normally, because he has one movement, he would step away to no longer be disadvantaged. But because we put the immobilization on him, he's stuck there and he's muddled anyway. So regardless, he's making an attack and being disadvantaged. So he's going to attack the Craighheart, and his attack is 3, but he has to pull 2 cards. So he has to take the worst of the 2 cards. So he gets the -1. -1 off the 3 is 2, and that's 2 against the Craighheart. So we'll take that damage down to 10. There we go. And now at this point, the muddled and the immobilized token come off, and that's essentially it for both of them. The only other thing too is, oh, sorry, what am I doing here? He had a really weird card. I'm kind of playing him as if he had an attack keyword. He didn't actually have an attack keyword. So I'll put the 2 damage back up. I pulled 2 cards, which I shouldn't have, so I'll have to reshuffle this whole deck here. But essentially he had this really weird card. I was kind of getting a little crazy. It says, Ooze suffers 2 damage. So he's not attacking, he just suffers damage. So the Ooze, which is number 1, takes 2 damage. So now he's at 4 damage, so that's not bad. And then it says, summon a normal Ooze with a hit point value equal to the summoning Ooze's current hit point value, limited by a normal Ooze's specified maximum hit point value. Wow. Okay, so essentially what I'm understanding from that is that a new Ooze appears. A new Ooze will appear. So I'll just drop it here. Now, a new Ooze appears, but it has half the value of life. So because it's saying that essentially it's got a hit point value equal to the summoning Ooze's current hit point value, and the current hit point value after he summoned damage was 4. So essentially we know that they're normally 8, so we'll put 4. We're going to put 4 damage on it it makes it easier for us to count that there only needs to be 4 more damage on that newly generated one in order to kill it. So it's going to be kind of hard because these are skinnier track lines, but we got 4 and 4. So we just really need a really powerful attack. We might be able to take them both out. So that's crazy. So that card's now done, and that's it. So now at this point, we're done. This no longer occurs. He didn't attack. There's no attacking that happens, but all this stuff comes off. No muddling. All this stuff comes off at the end of its turn, so it's discarded. And that's essentially it, I think. There's nothing. Oh, of course. And then this guy goes ahead, and at the end of his turn, he's going to spawn. Now that's the thing too. Does he spawn one at the end of his turn? At the end of each of the doctor's turn, whether it was stunned or not, the doctor will summon an Ooze. Oh, geez. So the stone golem would have actually summoned another Ooze, which then this card over here would have summoned another Ooze. Oh my goodness. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So essentially, I can see how this is going to get really ugly. So essentially what would have happened is this doctor here would have summoned another Ooze, which I would have put wherever. I'd put him here, I guess. And then this one, then essentially what would have happened is both of these guys would have been active when this initiative kicked in, which would have been the one should have taken 2 extra damage like it did, and then this new one, this one here that was summoned as a result of this at the end of the turn as a result of this should have taken 2 damage, so there should be 2 damage on it. Oh, this is really freaking confusing. Oh, let me make sure I got the math right on all this craziness. Okay, so yes, that is right. One of these I've already hit for a bunch of damage. This one was summoned and had damage put on it equal to whatever 1 was. So now I need to, because the Stone Golem summoned this one after his turn on Initiative 65. When Initiative 94 happened, which was this text here, this Ooze is going to spawn another one, which is going to be at the same level as this one. But this one now was supposed to suffer 2 damage. So number 3 is supposed to have 2 damage on it. And so, yeah, and number 3 was supposed to have 2 damage on it, which means when you summon number 4, it would have 2 damage on it, essentially, because it's supposed to equal the same amount of life points. So now we have 2 here that are at 4, and we have 1 and 2. 1 and 2, which are these 2, sorry, with 4 damage each, and need 4 more to be killed. And then these two here, they have 2 damage each. This is getting crazy. You can see why people are losing this now. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That's the end. Wow, that was nasty. So ooze is going everywhere, and that is that's a blast. I'm gonna actually end the episode here because I need to shuffle a bunch of things back. I think I'm okay. I'm not really okay, but I think I'm just gonna push through with things. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna push through my current lot here. I'm not really gonna do anything else. I think I'm just gonna push myself through this massacre. We really need to kill this guy. Like, he needs to be the highest priority because the oozes are just getting out of control. There's so many of them on the map now that I think I'm just going to get absolutely massacred here. So what I thought might have been a potential win for me is turning into an absolute nightmare. So we're in a little bit of trouble. It appears. Oh, sorry. Let me think about this. I actually get to retaliate. Now, but my retaliate wouldn't have triggered because the oozes didn't even attack me. Oh my goodness. Okay, wow, that's crazy. Well, anyway, there's nothing else I can do about this one. This is just as ugly as it gets, but there we are. We've got a machine surrounded by oozes, and we're fighting for our lives. So anyway, hope you guys are enjoying. In the next video, we're going to do an attempt here. I'm going to clean everything up. There's no elements to drop down. Short resting, not really worth it. We only got a couple cards left. We'll play those 2 out. We'll play those 4 out for now, and then nothing to shuffle modifier-wise, so we're okay. Yep, and this one just had a muddle, I think. Yeah, so we're good. All right, perfect. So until the next episode, guys, if you guys haven't subscribed, please do like the video. I know this was a little confusing. I'm sorry with the oozes, but this text here is also really crazy, and I understand how it works now, but essentially the oozes that are on the board when that initiative kicks in are supposed to all take a damage, and then you're supposed to, it says summon normal ooze with a hit point value equal to the summoning ooze's current hit point value, limited by the normal ooze's specified max. Yeah, so it's almost like every ooze that's on the board, which we would have had 2 because the golem would have gone before the ooze and spawned a second one. So both of these would have been on the board, and then they would have spawned their doubles of themselves at the same hit point level they currently have, which is mind-boggling. Anyway, so hope you guys are enjoying, and until next episode, keep rolling solo.